An individual, Dr. Sung-Hee Kim, was an individual who graduated on Friday night. She has a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh in social science, and decided she wanted to come back for some hands-on kind of job training. So she got a dental hygiene degree, and she'll be entering the local workforce here. And then finally, Edie Campbell, who was the subject of a profile story in the Herald last Friday. Just an amazing individual. She's in her 30s. She's been a foster child. She's an adoptive parent of several foster kids. And has a huge, foster family of her own now. She had a brain tumor in 1995, had to learn how to walk and talk and speak and write and think and everything all over again. Graduated and is going to be heading off to Heritage to work on a bachelor's degree in social work. At the GED, we graduated 708 people who were in many cases obtaining the highest educational certificate in the history of their family. What we do is important and valuable, and if higher education, and I'll speak for the community college, came to, if we shuttered those 1,200 institutions tomorrow, the national economy would really falter, because we had such presence in workforce development, such a strong presence in university transfer, such a strong presence in basic skills education. Very important institution. We've got some real challenges going forward, as does every business, because we're in a contracting economy, but we're open for business and we're up to the challenge. So thank you very much.
Dr. Carwine, after your remarks, would you mind remaining up for some questions? And Rich will join you. So, Chancellor Vicki Carwine joined Washington State University Tri-Cities in September 2006. She arrived shortly after the campus received legislative authority to expand to a full four-year university. She led the efforts to recruit and raise scholarships for the first freshman class, welcoming more than 100 freshmen in August of 2007. Under her leadership, WSU Tri-Cities continues to grow its freshman programs, strengthen its relationships with regional community college, add research opportunities for graduate students, and expand partnerships in the community, the region, and the state. Chancellor Carwine earned her doctorate in nursing from Indiana University. She began her academic career at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where she was a nursing professor for 23 years and served as Dean of the College of Health and Sciences for 6 years. Chancellor Carwine previously was president of Westfield State College in Massachusetts, and before that she served 9 years as the Chancellor of the University of Washington, Tacoma. Please welcome me in welcoming Dr. Vicki Carwine.
Well, thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to be able to share information about what's happening at WSU Tri-Cities. And let me also say that it has truly been my honor and my pleasure to have met Rich and to have been able to work with him as president of CBC. And I can certainly say from our standpoint at WSU Tri-Cities, I hope Rich can say the same thing, that the working relationship and the collaboration between our two institutions has never been better than it is right now. And one of the things that Rich mentioned, I'm going to elaborate on just a little bit in terms of a collaboration that we're hoping that we can bring to fruition around nursing. But we have a Bridges program there where we work very, very hard for those students who want to come to WSU Tri-Cities to make sure that they can seamlessly transfer. And that requires a lot of work on the part of Rich's staff as well as our staff at WSU. And we work to make that better and better all the time as well. So just a few slides about what's been happening at WSU Tri-Cities, particularly since, as was mentioned, we transitioned to a four-year offering institution in the fall of 2007. So we have just had tremendous growth, and a lot of that growth has been as a result of expanding to 4 years, so 41% over the last 4 years. Just comparing our fall enrollment data of last year to this year, people still want to come to our schools. So even though we are experiencing these economic difficulties, we are continuing to see an increase in enrollment. So right now, we're about 20% above where we were this time last year. Just wanted to talk in general about two of our highest demand programs. One of that is in nursing. We are currently sitting on 90 qualified applications for our nursing program and only 20 slots available. Obviously, this is a huge demand in our community as it is across the country for nurses. I'm sure this is a program that Rich sees high demand in as well, and so we're actually up 39%. This is our highest demand program. The other area that we're really seeing an increase as well in is in the STEM disciplines. And you all know about Delta High School. That's something that, an entity that we're partnering with, as well as CBC. We're working with STEM around curriculum development, and obviously we are very interested in recruiting those students to our two institutions as they come to full enrollment and begin graduating. On the nursing side of things, many of you in this community may have been involved around 4 or 5 years ago. There were some discussions in the Tri-Cities community about the possibility of the WSU nursing program being physically located in the brand new building that CBC was building in downtown Richland, and for a number of reasons that just didn't happen at that time, but that is an initiative and a collaboration that we are revisiting in a very serious kind of way, and something that we are very, very interested in doing, and CBC has been most gracious to say that that third floor that's still in shell space, if we can have a community effort to raise some money to build out that shell space, that our program would move down there. And so we are very much hoping that that is going to happen. Two pie charts that you've all seen a number of times, but just to just briefly show you where our students are in terms of at the graduate level. About a third of our students are in our master's programs in education, and then about a third of our students are in sciences and ag and in our engineering programs. At the undergraduate level, it's a bit different. And that 47% undecided, what happens is they don't actually get certified into their major until they're in their junior year. So a number of those students, actually most of them, already have an idea of what they want to go into. But as you can see, liberal arts is our largest program. The reason that continues to be the case, obviously, is liberal arts is the foundation for most four-year degrees, but also because that was the first program that we actually offered the full 4 years in. And so as we add the courses to these other program areas, we will see increases in those as well. Just one slide to sort of give a bird's eye view of where we are relative to budget reductions. In terms of our state allocation in fiscal year 09, that was about $7 million. That's our state allocation. That's not tuition dollars. That's not grants and contracts funding and other sorts of monies that we have, but just from the state. So in fiscal year 2009, we had about $112,000 reduction. Last year, $711,000, and for this current year that we're in, almost $500,000. So our reduction there is about 1.2, 1.3 million. The bigger number for us is that in terms of the amount of state-funded FTEs, we're actually funded for 865 full-time students. We actually serve 1,150 full-time students. So the difference in those numbers in terms of the money that we normally would get from the state is $2.3 million. So we are actually serving about 33% more full-time students than what we're getting paid for by the state. So that total reduction then actually is about 3.6 for us, which is very significant given our state allocation. What is not factored in here are the tuition increases, and Rich talked about a 7% increase for him this year. We will have a 14% increase. It was 14% last year, 14% again this year. That does offset some of that budget reduction, but it certainly doesn't offset all of it. In terms of student financial support, like students at CBC and some of the examples that Rich gave at the end. We have so many students who graduate from us as well. They're the first in their college, or they're first in their families to get a college degree.